This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me is Sakura A. and Robert Alexander. How's it going?
Y'all?
It's another Tuesday. We definitely got some subjects here. We're starting off with Gilberto Ramirez missing weight. Oh, man, we're looking at like 7-8 pounds. Rumors that it was above. Guys, what is your take on this? I mean, that much weight is very unprofessional. Do we think he's not ready for this weight class anymore? Did he not train like he was supposed to? What happened?
Only he can answer that question. For me, I think it was mental. I think after that loss, he kind of like sabotaged himself. And if you want to say, if you're having mental issues as far as not wanting to, take another L or not wanting to feel so defeated, because it was a pretty bad loss to Bivol. It wasn't competitive at all. So he could have psychologically set himself up for failure just to not get in that ring right now. You have to think about that with boxers, is that a lot of it is mental instead of physical. But nevertheless, yes, you're right. Correct. It's very unprofessional. And not to mention Rosado, who doesn't always he gets the B-side treatment at times, even with the big name that he does have in the industry. He did everything he was supposed to do. He made the weight. He trained, did all these things for weeks. And now it's no fight money because Ramirez has limited what his take-home pay should be. Usually when you get to a certain level, you're at least getting the pay for your training camps. So hopefully he at least broke even on that. But I'm sure he's like, I wanted the money. I want to meet my cash. I got ready. I did what I was supposed to do. And now this guy is so far overweight that the boxing commission wouldn't even allow him to be overweight and just get a fine. Because we all know if you start out at like 7 or 8 pounds over, and then you rehydrate from there, you're like way off the mark from what Jacobs would have been. What Rosado would have been, because Rosado is not really even a real light heavyweight. So it's kind of like, you're already pressing it and now you're overweight. It's like, no. So kudos to the boxing commission for saying, no, it's too much of a safety risk when it comes to brain injuries, etc. And I think somebody needs to dive more so his team, Ramirez's team. They need to dive in and find out like what's behind this missed weight, because it's not just missed weight, if you know what I mean.
For sure, when it's that high is never missed weight. I mean, there's got to be a lot of things going wrong. And it couldn't happen to anybody else. Rosado gets this kind of treatment, this poor guy. He has had career like that. He's just very unfortunate in the game of boxing, mainly because he doesn't have, that big time promoter behind him. He has not been that kind of a promoted fighter. Rob, what's your take on everything here? I mean, have you all but gave up on Ramirez? I mean, he was pretty highly touted, right? Bivol kind of knocked him down a step. And it seems like we're never going to see what Ramirez could have been.
Well, that's the issue, Lucas. His promoter didn't do him no favors getting him over 50 fights with nobody. That's really the main problem. He should have been fighting this type of fight years ago. Rosado should have been on the docket when Rosado really meant something in the sport. Not right now. It's almost as if you have this fight just for the namesake for him, and he's coming off of a loss, so he's going to probably win, and his mind isn't even totally in tune with it because he's not excited for a fight with Rosado. He's not excited at this point to get in the ring. He's probably still once again frustrated with his promotion. frustrated with boxing, maybe life in general. So the issue is that you can't put up a fighter there with 51 wins. Only then talking about they're the next Floyd Mayweather and not let them get in the ring against tougher competition. As the competition steps up, he takes a loss and he isn't able to recover. Now it's affecting the discipline factors of his career. And he's probably even pondering whether he wants to step in the ring again or not.
I mean, the direct quote from him here is, "I had never missed weight in my 45 pro fights. This is the first and last time. I have always prided myself on being a professional, but today was not my finest moment." Um, I, I get
That
but
tells you right there, Lucas. It's he wasn't excited for the Rosado fight. That's the issue.
okay. It actually goes on here. This is on his Instagram. "I have always prided myself on a professional, but today was not my finest moment. On that note, I'd like to apologize to all my fans and supporters, Golden Boy Promotions, Diaz, for this unfortunate event. I have never gave up trying to make weight cutting until the final moment, but just couldn't lose enough to make the contracted weight. I am embarrassed, as you should be, and upset by my actions and promise that this will never happen again. I will make the right adjustments and we will be back soon." I mean, you got to have some nerve on you to even show up to the weigh-in, because your ass knows that you are over by that much, right? I mean, them fighters, they get checked in all the time. You're constantly on the scale, constantly trying to see where you're at. He knew he wasn't going to make it, right? He knew long ago. So I take this apology as kind of a half-assed apology, because does he really mean it? I don't know. But to me, I agree with you, Rob. I think he couldn't get up for it. You know what I mean? He was just like, whatever, I'm just going to go through the motions. I'm not trying too hard. And, it kind of ended there.
Well, notice he never even apologized to Rosado himself.
He apologized to everybody but Rosado, basically.
Exactly.
And that's the man that worked the hardest to try to get into the ring to fight with him. I mean, it's a slap in the face. It really is.
Right. And I did see a little interview clip of Oscar De La Hoya, and he was saying that he was trying to see about getting Rosado a different fight soon. But he is really out of options, because there's only one other, like Munguia was his last, fight with Golden Boy involved. And it's like, that was at a totally different weight class. We're talking about a fight. I don't even know if that should have happened in the first damn place, because Munguia was down at middleweight, and now they got Rosado fighting at light heavyweight. So it's kind of like you was, kind of stretching Rosado's abilities in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, they were already, beefing him up so that he can fight at this weight class. He shouldn't have been up there to begin with. You're right, Sakura.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we'll see what else. We'll see what else is cooked up for Rosado, because there's always somebody out there that wants to test him and wants to see how good they look against him. Or, which is really taking a big risk, because you never know what type of Rosado you're going to get when, he's in the fighting mood. He can catch you. And, that age is not kind of a factor when he decides that's what he wants to do. So he shows up talent that's been souped up, like they just like hype him up. But he tests them in a way that you're like, when that fight is over, you're kind of like, I don't think he's ready for such and such now. So I give kudos to somebody like Rosado for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was very interested in that fight. I mean, not that it was like, big news for boxing community, but I think it was just interesting to see one where Gilberto really is, because I think that question is still on everybody's mind. How good is Gilberto Ramirez? I don't know if we all know. I might have even placed a wager on Rosado, depending. Would you guys have favored Rosado in this fight? Should have happened?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I thought it definitely was going to be a competitive fight after what we saw from Ramirez and Bivol. It's like that the boxing skill really just wasn't there, and not even a little bit. I don't expect him to be, a boxer on the pure boxer that Bivol is, but I definitely thought he had a little couple of tricks up his sleeve, and he did not. And then on top of that, I'm thinking, why are you trying to outbox a boxer? Like at some point in his mind, even if his team wasn't saying that in the corner, I kind of felt like, he should have been like, shit, I ain't gonna win like this. Like I gotta try to come in and bully Bivol, because this here trying to like box him on the outside, it's not working. And that transition to go from an A strategy to a B strategy never happened. So, I mean, Rosado has that ability. He can go from an A strategy to a B strategy. It's like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, well, I got to try this on you. He got some Philly moves in there. So, I mean, it's possible that he knew that he either knew that Rosado might have been able to figure him out, or he knew that his mind just couldn't take another possible loss.
Now, Rob, you kind of said that his record is manufactured, basically. So, but you still don't think a tested and weathered Rosado will be able to win this? I mean, I'm surprised at the odds. I looked at him. He was actually plus 1,100. Rosado was. I mean, that's good betting odds. I would have taken that.
Wow.
No, Rosado is a fighter, not any threat to Gilberto Ramirez. He actually plays into Gilberto's style.
Right, but like, what is Gilberto's next best fight? Right, we already know he got schooled by Bivol. Right, what's his next best competition? Sullivan Barrera. Right, I mean, that and Jesse Hart. And Jesse Hart was a majority decision. I mean, that was
have the names. The problem with Rosado,
he doesn't have the competition. He doesn't have the measuring stick.
Rosado was in and out of the ring too much. Rosado hasn't had a meaningful fight in some years either. So that's what I mean. Rosado is kind of 1 foot in the ring, 1 foot out.
I mean, Rosado still lost, the last 3 fights. He lost 3 in a row.
But I mean, back to back. Like it's not like he's been out of it for years, though.
Yeah,
like we started seeing a different Rosado when he beat Danny Jacobs, and nobody thought that Danny Jacobs won that fight, but he got the decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we go from there, and he moves to this other. I don't remember the opponent's name, but he knocked him out. I mean, he called him. It was like a knockout of the year. I think that was that 2021 or 2022.
That was 21.
Yeah. So what he got some different fights in there where he did look good and decent. Monkey Owl didn't look that great against him till he actually got him out. So it's something in his heart that's still there. But at the same time, let's just be real. Gilberto was not up for the challenge of even what Rob is calling a reduced Rosado. So definitely you should not be putting him in the ring with someone that is considered more competitive at this point.
Well, that's his fault. That's the fighter's fault. He should be put in the ring against a guy like Rosado. He should have been matched with Rosado years ago. If the fighter is not prepared, then that's the fighter's fault. But we can't sit here and say who would win because the fight never happened.
Right, yeah. But what we're saying is that if you cannot meet a challenge to what people are considering not that much of a competitive bout, how are you going to get this boxer in the ring with a better BF? Which we know he's the top dog of that division. He has all the titles now, I believe. Is he undisputed yet? Or is one person has?
No, he's not undisputed.
Bivol has the WB. What is it? WBC? It's one belt.
I think so.
Yeah. So we know that he is not up for. He wasn't up to Bivol, so he damn sure ain't gonna be up for him. So, like Lucas say, who the hell is he supposed to be fighting?
Himself. That's who he's fighting right now. He's fighting with himself.
Well, that's true.
Like we talked about last week, I think Rosado was actually, and I always have said this about Golden Boy, I think they do match make well. However, they put Bivol in. They shouldn't have went to Bivol as early as they did. I don't think anybody really thought that Gilberto was ready, but I mean he got served up there a little too quickly. I think you're right. Instead of fighting a Bivol, he should have been fighting a Rosado, somebody more game, and worked up slowly. See, we've seen fighters get treated that way where they're like too much too quick, and I think this was definitely the case for Gilberto, and I think it may have shattered his confidence because that much weight, I mean, there's really no excuse for it. You knew ahead of time, you knew the week of, you should have just backed out. So I really hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping Gilberto comes back in a fight coming soon, makes weight, and proves us all wrong. But I don't know. It seems like Bivol really has ruined his confidence. Let's move on here. Talk about another upset situation. We have Gesta upsetting Jojo Diaz this weekend. Guys, one, would you call it an upset? I do. And did you see Jojo winning? I believe Sakura, did you say you had him ahead?
Yeah, I either had it at least a draw or him up by one. It's one of those fights where one boxer is pity patting and kind of being boxing slick, and the other boxer is the heavier puncher. He's not putting out as much output, but the punches are way more effective. That same boxer is the one that's being aggressive, effective aggressiveness, putting his opponent on his back feet, telling people that is, going to happen on the ropes. His team was telling him, well, who was he against? I forgot. Gesta.
Mm-hmm.
His team was telling him stay off the freaking ropes. You know what I'm saying? And he was allowing Jojo to consistently get him on the ropes and in many rounds. So it was one of those situations where I did think that Jojo got a raw deal on this one. And not only because he didn't get the win or the draw, but because the judges' cards, two of them had him like drastically apart. Like they had it where it didn't look like Jojo did anything for the entire fight, which is so not right. And people say, yeah, but sometimes the right person wins, but this time I don't think that the right boxer won. And on top of that, even if he had won, it's a thing in this box rec when you're looking at people's records. You don't want to have it on there where you're like, okay, let's see if this was a close fight or not. Was it a split? Was it a draw? What was going on? And you go and look and you see these wide margins, which makes someone, believe that it wasn't competitive at all. So I don't like when these scorecards come out looking so much different than what the fans actually saw.
Yeah, Rob, what's your take?
Yeah,
who did you have? Who did you have winning?
I think it was a slap in the face to Jojo, but I think it was a slap in the face that he deserved. We're going back again to another fighter who doesn't get fully prepared and doesn't perform fully as he should in some of these fights because he doesn't live a true boxer's lifestyle. He's been in trouble in and out of the ring before. He comes into this fight, and the reason why they took the wide margin Shakur is because he did show aggression and he did show pop. He showed to me in stretches in this fight that he was the better fighter, but it was not enough, and it wasn't like a good JoJo that we see in the ring. This was a bad JoJo we saw because he didn't put up the aggression and he didn't put up the fight enough that he Gesta was really that worried. And the judges went with Gesta for the upset. It definitely was an upset.
Gesta hurt. a couple of times in that fight.
But
So
he
I'm
didn't
not understanding
capitalize.
what the judges were seeing, because that's effective aggression. When you have somebody hurt and they're grabbing onto you and they're like looking at the clock, like you actually see him look at the clock, like, damn, how much time I got to try to recover. And I hear what you're saying, Rob, where he could always be a little bit better, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that someone who did not perform as well as you should win either.
No, which is why I said it was a slap in the face to JoJo, but he deserved it. Okay, get yourself together, learn from this loss, take boxing serious. Because
Well,
now,
the announcers trying to kind of piss me off too. I don't know if you observed that, Rob, but how they was like talking about his personal issues and stuff. I'm like, But when other people fight, no names. They fight, they never mention anything that they're doing outside of the ring. But you want to discuss his entire, personal life and what's going on in it on live TV, and it's okay. So I feel like they need to like establish either you're gonna talk about everybody
that's a
on the
part
same
of it,
level,
Shakur.
or
That's a
you're not
part
gonna
of
bring
it.
up nobody's shit. Because ain't nobody perfect in this world. So for them to be bringing up things that have absolutely nothing to do with the fight whatsoever, when he was performing well at that time, I could see if he was performing horribly, then you would be bringing up like, well, he do got some things going on, but you still wouldn't be that specific. Like, I had a problem with that because, like I said, they don't do it to all. So if you're not going to do it to everyone, stop trying to air these people laundry out on live TV, because you're going to be biased and you're not going to mention what the next boxer do. So that's what I got to say on that. Like, because that shit they were saying was so unnecessary.
Lucas, we're journalists, right, Lucas? Okay, so as journalists, you're privy to certain things. One of them being in between the fight, okay, with the fighters meetings and everything like that. So if you see something in the fighters meetings that calls to your attention, that makes you feel like, hey, this fighter is not about to perform his best on fight night, and some of these guys are well prepared even when they know when a fighter will possibly be upset the night of the fight because of what they see in between the fight. So yeah, they have a right to bring that up, and I felt like that was the situation, and why they spoke heavily upon it was because of everything that they saw. They saw that JoJo was not going to be right back.
Now, I agree with both of you.
They just wanted to talk about this man. They didn't see a damn thing. So stop it. And then on top of that,
They
like I
had to,
said,
Shakur, because why would you bring it up if you're not seeing it?
Don't bring it up for one or two because they don't have as big a name. Like, basically, that's them shitting on JoJo when he's already down. I feel like that's disgusting. Why?
Yeah, I see both sides here. I mean, I agree with you both. I mean, it needs to be either air out everybody's dirty laundry or keep some of it back. You can't treat boxers differently. I think everything is game, and everything should be game in this scenario. Is no different than having the flu game for Jordan, or Jordan's dad dying. I think a lot of that is supposed to improve the overall feel of what you're watching, and sometimes it's used grossly and mistakenly. So I think there's needs to be some tact involved that is not necessarily always done. And lately with boxing commentary, I think it's been going downhill for quite a while. So yeah, I would agree it was not done tastefully at all. Brett Reed sounds like a domestic dispute.
Exactly. That's exactly what it sounds like. And many boxers and many other people go through that all the time. Like, but they want to pinpoint and target certain boxers because they know damn well if that was a Canelo with a domestic violence situation, they wouldn't bring that shit up not once, no matter how bad he looked.
I do want to go back to his JoJo lazy and consider moving up in weight comment, because he did look a little, chubby than what he normally looks, right?
I mean, but he
looked a little
made
bit. He was a little slower, right? Well, considerably slower. This was just a lesser JoJo, right? I mean, I think we can all agree.
I mean, I feel like he made the weight, so whether he gained some before is okay or not. But the thing I heard was the opposite. I'm hearing maybe he should move back down in weight because he was more effective at 130 than 135, and he was a world champion and beat Tevin Farmer down in that weight zone. So for that championship. So maybe it's the opposite. Maybe he should be going down in weight, not up.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I think it's harder to come back down. Of course, it's easier to go up, and sometimes you just can't get back down. I mean, you look at Adrian Bronner's career. I think he should have stayed as low as he could for as long as he could. He was an amazing fighter for the weight that he was in. Once he started trying to bite off more than he can chew, everything went south. I mean, he was at one point a pound for pound fighter. I mean, he was up there. And to see his career crumble like it did, I mean, he jumped a whole weight class, right? And he never went all the way back down. Brett Reed, does he have the metabolic work rate to move back down, Jojo? That's a good question. That's kind of what I was saying.
Well,
but,
I agree with Brett, and I agree with him if this is what's going to be done. I think JoJo should move up in weight, but I think he needs a whole new game plan. I think they need to work on the man's power, because they need to work a little bit on his power and on his attitude. So if he can get those things clear and become more like a menacing type fighter at a higher weight class and build up on his power, he'll be good. Because I don't think the laziness will go away, and he doesn't have that pop in the speed anymore. So I think they need to work on a power game, and they need to work with his attitude to try to get him to be more of a menacing type fighter. Since he's not going to be quick enough, that's what I think.
So you think adding on more work is going to make him quicker? No.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then he's too short, guys. He's too small to be up there.
No, I don't think it's going to make him quicker, Shakira. I think
that's big. That's smaller.
I'm sorry, I have to say this though. I don't think it's going to make him quicker. I think he needs to get rid of the speed game. I think he needs to work on power.
Well, he demonstrated some power. He was still popping, dude. Dude was he was hurting. He had some moments where he could have got him out had he been not as winded or not as, the old JoJo would have been able, once he got hurt, he would have had his man. So, I mean, there's some things to work on, but if he could get back down to 130, I think that would be his sweet spot, because 135, it has some dogs in it right now. And if you're not getting through some of the B talent, you really don't, you ain't got nowhere else to go but to the top of the tier in that division. You know damn well you're not going to do well against them. So it's kind of like, I feel like he does need to see if he can be disciplined enough to make that weight.
Brett Reed again. He appears to have lost the hunger in the competitive sense. Seems heavy and sluggish like Duran did, moving up to welterweight and middleweight. Yeah, I mean, that's more what I'm leaning towards. Rob, I don't really think working on power. I mean, JoJo's never been a powerful guy. I don't think all of a sudden you're going to turn him into some, knockout puncher. I think if anything, he lacked the stamina that JoJo needs, especially in this kind of weight class. You got to be able to throw high volume. You got to be able to move. And like Brett said, he was sluggish. He looked big. He did not look like he should be. Now, can moving back down to 135 help with that? Maybe he ballooned afterwards. I mean, he did make weight, but I just, like Sakura said, I don't know if his body type can handle that weight. I think he has to move back down, or maybe just give it up, because at this point, I don't think he can really compete at 140. I really don't.
I really want to talk to his team too, because I met JoJo just passing through the lobby at MGM or whatever, so full of life, so happy, such a great positive energy around him. Like, and he was like everybody, anybody that came up to him, he's just talking to him, just easy going. This JoJo that I saw this weekend, it seems very depressed. Seems like some heavy things are going on, and his team really needs to dive into that and before they decide where he needs to go next. There needs to be something about, like, how do we get him back to that old JoJo that is a happy, positive person that I saw years ago. Life can throw you a bunch of bullshit. We all know that. But somehow or another, most of us still end up maintaining our positive energy and that happy place. I don't feel like what I saw this weekend, it didn't seem like there was no happy for him. So his team really needs to, do something about that. At least look into what's really going on there.
Yeah, Brett Reed says it's a conditioning problem is how it looks, but is it because he's past his prime, or is it due to an injury or the flu causing a slump in gym? I mean, it could be multiple things for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can't blame it all on just laziness, but most boxers will at least be like, man, I had a up and down camp, or I was, in and out of it with, some kind of sickness. But
yeah, he said that it was like 3 weeks he took off, after the mishap, like, because he just had to like regroup and figure out whether he could even really want to do this fight. But I think what he came up with is, hell, I need to do this fight because I'm gonna have some legal bills and all kinds of shit hitting me. That's what most boxers end up feeling like. Damn, I need to grab this money while it's there. But that being said, he still outperformed Mercito. So that whole judging card was awful. Aggressive, effective aggressiveness. You're forcing the action. You're the one doing the heavier punches. Like, I just don't see how you end up with Gesta as a winner in this fight unless you are taking into account who his team is with the Freddie Roach crew and all that coming in there. Because otherwise, I didn't see him winning that.
But Rito missed that mishap. What was the case in this mishap?
Oh, that was the arrest. He like, that was him getting arrested. So when he got out, he was like, let me just regroup myself, But like you said, domestic violence issues, I guess. It wasn't really domestic violence per se, but definitely family issues.
Yep. All right. Let's switch topic. I really hope JoJo gets back to normal. And I think, Sakura, you're right. I think the best thing is to go back down and weight. I mean, that 140 is not going to be that division for him. Let's talk about another one that you really highly touted, right? Sakura used to love her, some Jose Ramirez. Are you still loving Jose Ramirez when he's taking on Richard Commey this weekend?
Damn it, no! I mean, he done damn disappointed me for real. Like, I'm just like, no, Jose, why? I mean, he had the humanitarian thing going on. He had the nice body work I love. He wasn't afraid of a challenge, He went, I'll fight Josh Taylor. Yeah. Put him in front of him. Like, this is my type of boxer. And then we get, I'm going to fight you program. And then he goes and fights Commey instead. No, I don't have a fight with Commey in the works. That's a lie. I didn't do that. But we got him fighting Commey this weekend. So, I mean, they actually got him on video saying, no, there's no fight with Commey. But, I mean, and, Progray is my other dude. And I got to go with Progray on this one. It's like, man, why you keep just going around me? Like, you said we was going to fight last year. So this ain't impressing me, no. Now, I do realize that he did get married and he did decide to, go ahead and fight a comeback type of fight. I guess this is supposed to be a comeback type of fight, Brett. But nevertheless, Commey is dangerous. That's not somebody that you need to come in the ring with feeling like you can just beat him either, because he got a lot of pop and power in his punches. Now he came out with a draw, I believe it was, with Pedraza. So we know that Ramirez is a harder puncher than Pedraza. Almost everyone in that division is.
Yep.
So, we can look forward to seeing some banging going on. Can Commey withstand a Ramirez punch? I'm not sure about that. But can he withstand a Commey punch? I believe so. He's been tested and unless he's not conditioned properly, because we could see that Josh Taylor got the best of him after the second half of the fight started. So if his conditioning isn't correct and him being out for so long now, I don't remember when his last fight was.
About a year ago.
It was a year ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that's a long time to be out. And then you just going in there with Richard Commey, who is in do or die mode right now, because he just, he's been sliding with some losses and then this draw to Pedraza. So it could be dangerous. But I think Ramirez will actually win this fight, because if he don't, he just fucked up some Prograde money, some Josh Taylor 2 money, some T.O. money. Who else is in the bunch? Catterall. Like he done messed up some serious money, because he still is considered one of the top dogs at 140. So let's hope that he's up for that challenge, and he's challenged and he's ready to get through Commey.
Yeah, they're both in a similar stage right now. So this one's close. It's harder to predict for me than what it would have been maybe a year ago,
Right.
And like you said, taking a year off and then coming back to fight Commey, there's no, step up fight or anything. I mean, Comey's not somebody that you just want to come in unprepared for. That's for sure. Very interesting fight. This is going to be a hard to predict, but Rob, get your 2 cents.
I was on mute for a reason, because I don't care about this fight at all. Let's be honest. This is one that you see shown on ESPN that should get used to a audience that's not used to these type of fighters, especially at this weight class. And you go through and you watch the fight, and it's not exciting for anybody. The person who wins who should win wins, but they coast a bit in the fight. So that's why I'm not a fan of this fight at all. Yes, Commey, is he dangerous? He once was. I don't think he's dangerous to anybody anymore, outside of the B level fighters. Period.
I mean,
he's not, Lucas. He's not. He hasn't proved a draw with Pedraza. You've seen Pedraza in his last fight, okay? He's not an exciting fighter.
But skill wise, Pedraza's up there. I'm not gonna say that he's like a knockout puncher, but to be able to get a draw with Pedraza is still saying something. I mean, that's saying that you're still capable.
That's saying that you're a B level fighter. You might be a little better, period.
And I have to admit, I forgot, Rob, that during that fight, I really thought that Pedraza did enough to win that fight. So, I mean, that's another one of those decisions that, they just made it a draw. But I really felt like Commey didn't win that fight.
It could have went anywhere. But let's be honest. This is one that folks are going to watch on like ESPN and sleep halfway through the fight. Or fall asleep halfway through the fight.
I think it's going to be more entertaining than what you're giving it credit for. But from the sound of it, Rob, if I can go through what you just said and kind of translate it. So you're saying the way you expect this fight to go is basically Ramirez to kind of skate by Commey, not take it too hard, not try to get him out of there, basically just skate through this fight and win on points.
That's exactly how I see it going.
Sakura, do you agree with him? We got to do our predictions anyway, so we
No, I don't agree because I mean that Ramirez whole style is that he's gonna be up on you. Like he's inside the pocket and he's banging to your body. That's his whole game plan. He's all about pressure. So he's gonna be pressing action. He don't know how to like stay on the outside and box you. That's not his game. It never has been. So I believe he's gonna be right there in the fray. He's gonna be trying to, get his punches in order to get them points. If he don't hurt him, I mean, because I could see him really trying to really go to the body on Commey and getting a knockout, a knockdown, or a technical stoppage, because he's a smaller frame, abdomen type boxer. Commey is, so that's an easy target for somebody that likes to go to the body a lot. So it's going to require him to be aggressive. Like I said, I don't know any other way for Ramirez to win. This guy's slinky. He's long. He has long reach. He's tall. Like you have no choice but to go in the pocket anyway.
And I'll second that, Shakur, by saying if Ramirez does get him out early, that does us all a favor. Because we don't want to see this bout go any longer than 3 to 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I don't want to see a long, prolonged type, long, drawn out, prolonged type win. Especially when we can look forward to some of these judges' cards being ridiculous. So it's best if there is kind of like a 3rd or 4th round.
Okay. But is that what you think's gonna happen?
No, I think it might take longer. I think it's the same outcome, but I think it might be longer to get that.
I don't know.
7th or 8th round type stoppage.
Commey's been, of course, what we just talked about. Commey's been more active. He's coming off Pedraza just back in August, whereas Ramirez has been going for over a year. And boxing's about staying active. I can't really see Ramirez coming in and knocking him out, making a big splash either. So I do kind of agree with Rob's assessment. I think he does kind of skate by Commey. But I expect Commey to fully bring it. And I'm not going to be surprised in the least if Commey does get the upset, but I got to go with Ramirez. Probably unanimous decision, but close unanimous decision. CJ, this fight will be a snooze fest night, Commey. Oh, all right.
Oh, well, he's agreeing that it's Ramirez, though, as the winner.
Yeah.
Hey, check this out, though. I mean, if you think about it, if Ramirez was like the boxer that we've seen in the past, like, I don't think Commey has had anyone give him that type of pressure before. If I'm not mistaken, when he was at 135 for most of his career. So, I mean, Loma definitely, he's a pressure fighter, but not like this. Like, this is imposing type of pressure that Ramirez likes to put on you. So we'll see how, at the least, we can see how Commey reacts to that type of pressure.
That's good. Well said. Let's go ahead and change topics now. Let's talk the main event here. Let's talk Benavidez plan. Guys, I'm excited for this fight. Rob, your eyes kind of went up a little bit. I'm going to hand it over to you first with this one.
This is an excellent fight. Excellent fight. And both guys have shown in the pressers, both guys have shown in the all access to it, they want to fight. They're ready for this fight. And that's what we need. That's what's been missing in boxing up to this point. Up to right now, we missed a fight like this that has this kind of build-up where both guys are actually ready to fight each other. That's why my eyes lit up.
Yeah. For me, I love Plant's energy now. I love a confident boxer. there is legitimate bad blood between these two. I was on a press conference call with some trainers, and Ramos, I think his last name was Ramos. He had some words like he used to be in the gym when Benavidez and Plant was in there together, and you could just feel the tension and the animosity between these two guys. I mean, and that's years ago. So this has kind of been festering. But I never knew the real reason for all of this, built up animosity between them. But apparently it came out earlier today where they were saying, Plant was saying that he made a reference about why you bringing up your child, your dead daughter, like when that's in the past, like just move on. And, that kind of, you can't bring up no shit like that to nobody, much less a boxer, like, oh, it's not convenient for you to hear about somebody in my life that passed away way too early. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like rude. And I don't believe that family and kids and stuff should be a target for boxers shit talking. Like, you can shit talk about a whole host of things, no problem. But when you start talking about family members, I think that's a hard line, right? And that hard line is the type that can, it can just make your ass have a really bad night in the ring. Because when a boxer starts remembering stuff like that, two things are going to happen. You're either going to get your ass kicked, or he's going to be too emotional, and you're going to be able to use that to your advantage. But Plant seems pretty focused on exactly what he needs to do to possibly hurt him. I just don't know if there's enough power in the world to get the Mexican monster out. This is a huge boxer. I don't know how he makes 168. And definitely after, the day after the weigh-in, during the fight, he's definitely not going to be close to 168. We can count on that. So it's like, I don't know if Plant has that kind of power. Can he catch Benavidez? Yes. But is it enough power to really get out somebody that's that huge, that heavy? And he's going to be throwing his own quick punches at Plant, also throwing him off. So, I mean, it just makes it really intriguing for me. I'm really intrigued by this fight. But like I was saying, there is legitimate animosity there.
Yeah, I mean, the question for me is, how much is Benavidez going to weigh fight night?
Well, Caleb has experience.
He can be a heavyweight.
Because he's
it's going to be heavy.
So we know Canelo comes in heavier. Canelo can fight around 175, and he always outweighs his opponent. So Caleb does have that experience in fighting a heavier fighter when he took on the fight with Canelo. I was just trying to set the tone when I talked about it, but I think this is a absolute barn burner type of fight, y'all. I think it is. I think the longer it lasts, the better for the sport. The longer it lasts. Now, that being said, me saying both fighters are ready means I think Caleb can actually come off the canvas in this fight, y'all. I think he might have to get up off the canvas and fight harder and stronger in this fight to break Benavidez' will. I think that's a very important part with Caleb Plant in this fight with Benavidez. Y'all, he's gonna have to take the fight to the dog. And I know what Lucas is thinking right now. Don't do that, right? That's what you're thinking, Lucas. Don't do that, right? No, he has to, I think. He has to take the fight to the dog in this one. Because if you try to do that boxing shit like he did with Canelo and try to coast, he's going to get caught with something heavy. And it's only a matter of time. He has to try to bring out the fight in Benavidez. He might even have to get up off the canvas, but he has to pull it Rocky style. Okay? Yes, Rocky style. He's gonna have to take the fight to him. That's gonna be a key in this fight. the boxing shit is not gonna help. It's not gonna work.
I mean,
you want him
the reach and the height that Benavidez has, it's like, how do you stay away from him? Even if you do want to outbox him, it's kind of like, how you going to do that?
Well, according to Box Rec, I mean, it's the reach and the height is really not too much of a difference. It's an inch and a half an inch. I mean, the difference right now, I think, is the power, right? And you, Rob, want him to slug with Benavidez, and I think that's a terrible idea. You trying to kill Plant. That's what
you keep saying that, man. You keep saying that, but something has to give, Lucas. You can't fight him like you did Canelo. You just can't, because you're gonna get caught. Benavidez has enough power, in my opinion, to break a Canelo. So if he has enough power to break a Canelo, what do you think he's gonna do to Caleb? You got to outwill this guy. You got to outfight him. You got to make him frustrated, piss him off, cut him. Once he cuts you, cut him. If he knocks you down, knock him down. Yes, I'm saying it. That's the style you need to be to Benavidez. Otherwise, you're going to try to pull the boxing out. You're going to get caught and knocked down anyway, potentially knocked out.
I don't know. I mean, I partially agree. I think he does need to get inside, suffocate. But I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Like I said before, right? You treat your opponent like a booty call. You got to get in, get off, get out. And I think Plant can do that against Benavidez. I think he can. The only problem is can he do that without getting knocked out for them 12 rounds? Can he be perfect? Because he's going to get clipped, okay? And if Canelo can drop him, Benavidez can put him lights out.
Exactly.
That's true. That's an accurate statement that, if Canelo was able to catch him, but Canelo was very patient and he did wait until he, gassed out. And he did a lot of movement in that fight. And it was slick and it was pretty. It was really nice to watch. But at a certain point, tides turned when he wasn't able to keep up that same level of boxing and slickness. Yeah. So, Benavidez could have that same type of strategy in which he's like, I can just wait him out. I can just sit back and wait until he gets tired, because we don't know how his stamina, if it's going to be the same type of stamina or not. But if it is a factor, then yeah, that is a great plan. But also, Benavidez can catch you with a punch. He might not even be very heavy-handed with him. He could catch him with a punch that he just don't see, because he's so quick.
But let me ask you both a question that you I want to hear what you have to say. Do you think Benavidez knockouts have meant anything? Who has he knocked out that means something to you? Because I mean, look at it, right? Who has he knocked out?
You're absolutely right. And
that's a good assessment.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but
no one worth mentioning.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they both fought Darrell, right? They both fought Darrell.
Correct.
The same Darrell?
Yeah, the same Darrell, Anthony.
Benavidez had a TKO, right?
It was a stoppage, but not completely
knocked his ass out.
Right.
So that's my answer to you, Lucas. You absolutely have a point. Benavidez got the TKO, and Plant just knocked him clean out. But listen, Shakura, this one, I think personally, is gonna be a dogfight eventually. They might come out, and Benavidez might try to wait him out, and let try to wait Plant out, and let Plant try to, come in and box him and do that little slick boxer stuff, thinking that he's ahead, thinking that he's winning, and then he might put the clamps on him later on. But I think what's going to happen is Benavidez don't like to get punched without punching back.
All right.
So I think eventually it could start slow as a little chess match. But eventually they hate each other. Those feelings are going to get in. They're going to try to do a punch for a punch. And it's going to turn into a dogfight.
Okay, we have a question about the Anthony Durrell, if he was actually KO'd. Technically, they both KO'd him in the 9th round.
But one was
the corner threw in the
6.
towel, and they counted it as a KO and not a TKO by some weird California rule or whatever.
But he was still standing. That's the difference. Like, like he was hurt bad and it was coming, but he didn't.
But he wasn't
out.
laid out.
Whereas Plant, it was he caught him with the perfect punch.
Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely like David Benavidez. I think at this point I've seen more, and I think Plant has proved a little bit more than Benavidez has. I mean, like Benavidez' record, if you look at it, kind of reminds me a lot of Ramirez, who we were just talking about. So it may be a little bit too soon. I mean, Plant is a big jump for him as far as competition goes. Plant is a big jump for David Benavidez. A big jump.
They're ready. They're ready. Trust me.
That's great. But let's go ahead and read. Let's read Ralphie's comment. And thanks for everybody's comments tonight. Let's see. David have to attack him and attack to the body and give him no room to move. Yes, Plant can drop Benavidez. Ronald Garville dropped David because he was being careless. That's why Plant has to pay attention when to attack him if he gets the opportunity. Lucas, that's what you were saying. Is like he's got to know when to pick his spots and then keep it moving. Rotate him and, just do that slick boxing until he just pounce and then get in and then get back out. But he does, Ralphie does make a great point, which is alluding to Rob's suggestion, is that, really, he hasn't really knocked anybody completely out, Benavidez. So Plant just has to watch out for those, sharp shooter type quick punches that a lot of people sometimes don't see. That's how they get hurt. CJ, he says, has Benavidez, what did I say? Chin been really tested yet? Can Plant land a vicious shot on him? Yes and yes. I mean, no, wait a minute.
No and yes.
No and yes. Benavidez really hasn't been tested with anybody with monster power because him and Canelo have not met, and because Benavidez has had a lot of warm-up type fights or stay busy fights because he was having a hard time getting fights. So let's give a shout out to Plant right now because he's like, I'll fight that monster. Okay. Yeah. And then let's also
you gotta like a guy like
Plant,
that.
He's the one that has the experience, and he's the one that found that opening to get that huge knockout win. And he doesn't look like the same fighter that was in there with Canelo either. Like that's another thing. It's like he looks like a better and a totally different brand of fighter now in there because he's more vicious now.
Yeah, I think Plant has opened up, and I really like how he's looking in this style clash to me. Let's go to Brett's comment first here. Plant has textbook fundamentals in the British style, but I don't think he likes the pressure style as we have seen against Canelo, and David also has good pressure. Not disagreeing, but I think he gets too much shit for the Canelo fight. I think Plant did rather well. I think that was also a huge jump. I mean, who did Plant face? You know what I mean? There was not a lot of competition there. I think Plant rose to the occasion. He did rather well. I had it a lot closer on my scorecard than some others, but I really appreciated also even how he would be able to counter Canelo at times. So if he can counter Canelo and keep up with that, I have no doubts that he's going to be able to counter Benavidez. He's going to be able to turn Benavidez. Who's going to be more flat-footed, of course. Plant's going to have the ring generalship on his side. He has power. The only thing is he doesn't have more power than Benavidez. I think he's faster. And, of course, he has better boxing style, too. I mean, almost every plus is in Plant's favor. The only thing is, again, that power equalizer for Benavidez. And like you guys said, and like we just talked about, who has he knocked out? that we should care about. David Lemieux, Marco Rubio did that. We don't, that's not, something to write home about. We don't have a signature knockout. We do not have a measuring stick for David Benavidez yet. This is that fight. And I don't think he's going to measure up, guys. I think Plant's able to unanimous decision, if not late round stoppage. That's how I have it.
But what I'm saying is I'm not comparing power. For me, it's comparing who can knock out who. Like for me, it's like who's knocked out Benavidez before. I guess Ralphie has said one person, but most people are not going to have that type of strength. I mean, I just feel like he is just so big that it's going to take somebody with like tank type power to ever completely knock a Benavidez out. And then as far as Plant is concerned, we know he can be knocked out, but not this new Plant. We don't know what this new Plant got, because this is not the same Plant that got knocked out by Canelo. I mean, that is for sure. He has a whole new training team in there with him, and they've given him like some real self-confidence. It's someone that really knows boxing and how to set up and strategize how to win a fight. I think these are all things that are going to help Plant in this fight.
Definitely agree. I already predicted, so Sakura, if you want to, go ahead and throw it out there.
Yeah, you said Plant. Yeah. And after talking and after all this back and forward, if it goes to the scorecard, of course I'm going with Plant. If it ends early, I don't think it's Plant. I think that's a Benavidez.
Which do you think is more likely, though? You got to go one way or another.
Let's see. Which is more likely? Is it more likely that Benavidez stops Plant, or is it more likely a decision? I'll go with the decision. Plant.
All right. Let's hand it over now to Rob. Rob, who do you got?
Look. This is why I love this fight, okay? How good is Caleb Plant? Here's a fighter who went and fought Canelo and got knocked out, but earned Canelo's respect at the end of the fight. That's how good Caleb Plant is. Canelo, when he disrespects you, he gets you out of there and knocks you out. He don't generally come shake your hand at the end, especially with all the trash talk that was going on during that fight. He earned Canelo's respect. Caleb Plant is legit. And for that reason, he's ready for this fight. David Benavidez, how good is he? Well, like Lucas said, there's a question mark. But this fight is definitely going to tell us just how good Benavidez is. And Benavidez is hungry for the big challenge, because he wants the biggest fight possible coming up next. Benavidez in his head honestly thinks he has to knock out Plant and knock him out sooner.
Yep.
And he does have the power to do that. But you can't diminish Caleb Plant's skills. So this is absolutely going to be a back and forth battle. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to come down to stamina. It's going to come down to those little chess pieces that you put in there, like Shakur said, strategy. It's going to come to all those things at play. This is a true prize fight, people. This is what a prize fight is all about. Who wins? I don't know.
Well, this means you're going to pay for the pay-per-view? Is this what this means, Rob? Is it
pay-per-view? I paid my cable bill early so I can get this fight.
It's pay-per-view worthy, huh? You don't have to say that.
Entertaining.
Lucas is the real measuring stick, though.
Yeah.
Lucas?
So,
it is. So, I wish it, especially if it had an undercard. It doesn't, but Rob, go ahead.
So, but for my prediction, I'm going to predict that the big Mexican king Benavidez is able to get that edge I think they both will be bloodied. They both will be battered. Caleb Plant would just maybe have a knockdown more than Benavidez. And I
Okay.
think Benavidez wins in a very good fight.
Okay.
With a decision.
Oh, a decision.
Since it's mainly us three, I think I'm going to start collecting at least like the big fight predictions, and we're going to go. So next week, either two of us are going to be 1-0 or 0-1, and then 1-0 or 1-1. We'll discuss there, and I'm going to have it displayed at the bottom too, so everybody can see. And Brett Reed, no need to apologize. I mean, it's hard to keep up. Boxing's a huge sport. It is not like MLB or NFL. It's easy to lose track of little things.
Right.
We got to look up stuff all the time.
Oh,
Everybody
it's
does.
Breadman.
Yeah.
His coach is Stephen Edwards, but most people call him the Breadman.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that, but yeah, that's who's training him currently. Was that before the Jarrell fight, or was that 2 fights before? I can't remember, but
I think it's 1 fight before.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up. CJ Hooker says Benavidez wins a big fight. Canelo or Bivol? I'm picking him to win. Okay. Benavidez, CJ, I disagree, but I've been wrong before. Let's see who's right. Definitely come back next week because I want to talk about it and do a recap over this fight. It's going to be a good one. And I don't know who's up for it. If you guys are up, if you want to do like a Saturday show after the fight, we might be able to throw one on here. And then we got Ralphie says David wins by KO, Plant in 10, but don't be surprised. It's going to be dirty tactics.
It's going to be a dog fight. It's going to be a dog fight.
All right.
It's different than being dirty, though.
I see Plant pulling out some tricks here. I honestly do. I think he's going to shock a lot of people, but we'll wait and see. Definitely a good fight coming this weekend. So let's turn it over now to Rob. Rob's rapid fire last Tuesday was great. I can't wait to see what you got in store for us.
Well, we're keeping it with the March Madness theme here, people. It's March. It's still March, so we're still right in the thick of March Madness. So I have another March Madness style tournament for you guys, and I'm excited to say, in keeping with the theme of this weekend's fight, I decided to go ahead and pair both the lightweight, both the 175-pound division with the 168 division, with the super middleweight division. So we have match up those two divisions who I predict to be, or who I pick to be as the best in those divisions against each other. Shakur yawning on me. Don't be yawning on me, Shakur. All right. So the same way as we did last week, we have a play-in, so to speak, tournament to see who faces the top seeds in this particular matchup. So the first matchup in the play-in I have is Callum Smith versus Demetrius Andrade. Now, they have in the rankings right now, they do have Daniel Jacobs, which I had in this matchup, but I took him out because I don't agree with it, okay? Daniel Jacobs is like number 4 in this division, 4 or 5. Right. Andrade is down to number 9. Okay, and I don't like that. So I made a substitution. So Danny Jacobs was in, but I subbed him out and I put Andrade in this one. So we have Callum Smith versus Demetrius Andrade. Who are y'all taking?
Callum Smith versus Andrade.
I gotta say, I hate the fight off top. It's disgusting to me.
It's a play-in fight, Lucas. It's a play-in fight.
But I'm gonna just roll with it here. And I'm agreeing with CJ Hooker. I'm going with Andrade. I'm really not going to go too in depth because I know we got some more to move through. But yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, but Andrade didn't look good in his last fight at this new weight. But hopefully he was just trying to look bad. Look, I'm gonna give him a judge. Like he wanted to look kind of okay so that maybe he could bait some people into fighting him. So I'm going to go with Andrade as well.
It's unanimous. I agree. I like Andrade. Ralphie likes Callum Smith.
Ralphie said it's gonna be by boring decision.
Mike Ortiz is easy win for Boo Boo.
Okay, Mike.
All right, guys. So our next matchup we have Anthony Yarde taking on Gilberto Ramirez, who we mentioned earlier. So we have Anthony Yarde versus Gilberto Ramirez. Lucas?
That one's hard, especially with what's going on currently with Gilberto Ramirez. I'm going to go Yarde. I honestly will. I think I'm going Yarde.
Yeah, at this point, we do have to go with the fighter that just fought. You know what I'm saying? He actually made his weight. He got through his fight.
Well, let's assume he's making weight, but this again is a matchup between 175 and 168. So
yeah, I mean, I still have to go with the guy that's got his head in the game. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's ready mentally for a fight.
So on this panel, everybody majority wins. So Lucas and Shakira both go with Yarde. I like Gilberto Ramirez. Personally, I think I like Gilberto. I think if his head is in the game, he should be able to win this fight. Most of you guys are kind of split though. Like
yeah, it sounds like CJ says Ramirez, Ralphie says Ramirez, but Mike Ortiz says Yarde. Bivol exposed overhyped Ramirez, and then Brett Reed also said Yarde on experience. So
it's a split decision on their part.
Yeah.
We're going with Yarde on this panel. Okay. So
wait, you chose Yarde too?
No, it's just because me and you.
I know. I just didn't hear him when he said.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he said Gilberto.
Gilberto.
Okay.
So let's go to these matchups here. So that was the play-in. So we're officially starting the first round. So our number one on one side, our number one is of course Sal Canelo Alvarez. So based on who you guys picked in the play-in, he will now fight Anthony Yarde. So Canelo Alvarez versus Anthony Yarde. Lucas,
which weight? Wait, which weight is this?
This 168, right?
So it's 168 or 175.
Oh, we're doing.
Yeah, so he's doing light heavyweights too.
I think regardless, I still got to go Canelo on that one, and I hate saying it out loud, but it is what it is. I'm just going Canelo. Trying to make it go a little quicker, but
that's a tough one for me. Like, is we trying to catch weight them, right? Because that's what Canelo does. So I mean, that makes it a little bit more in Canelo's favor.
Right. I think if it's up in weight, then Canelo has less of a chance, but I'm still picking Canelo either way.
Well, I'm going to go with Canelo.
Got them judges.
Because the judges, I was going to say because of boxing politics, but which is the same thing as because of the judges. So I will go with Canelo on this one. Sorry, Yarde.
It's unanimous. Canelo wins. He's the more talented fighter. I think he can win this fight, y'all, at either 168 or 175. I think he can win it either way.
Yeah. The one thing that I didn't say in that is that Yarde does have problems with stamina. So that also is a recipe for getting your ass knocked completely out with Canelo. So I would say Canelo for sure.
Most of our fans
so far, I
have
think
Canelo.
Mike really, me and him see eye to eye so far.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Who's seeing it with me? Who's on my side?
All right, y'all. So our next bout we
in that
have,
one, I guess we're both same.
Our next bout we have on this side of the bracket, we have Artur Beterbiev taking on Caleb Soft Hand Plant.
Sweet hands.
Oh man.
I said soft. My bad.
And then you said Butterbeer, like he's butter, like Mrs. Butterworth. That's what you said.
Artur versus
Beterbiev.
Versus Caleb Plant.
I assume this one's then going to be at light heavy, and because I really can't see Beterbiev at 168. I got to go Beterbiev.
Yeah,
he's going to be able to walk through most of what Plant can dish out, I think. And I don't know. I think the only person that really beats Beterbiev is Bivol. That's been my thinking for quite a while now. So yeah, I'm rolling with Beterbiev, probably by KO.
But that pressure is gonna be serious. Like Beterbiev's pressure with boxers, he's like 10-0. You come in there and try to outbox him, you're gonna get your ass handed to you. So he's a bully, but not with weight. He's just the fucking bully. So I gotta go with Beterbiev because he's that type of, natural instinct wolf type boxer that really comes at you and is relentless. I mean, he tires you out just from, you trying to keep him off of you. So yeah, definitely Beterbiev on that one.
I agree. I think Caleb is a tremendous competitor, but Beterbiev is just a beast.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like that's unanimous. I don't think anybody even questioned that Plant would win that. Everybody said Beterbiev. Every single one of us. So.
Oh, cool.
So on the next side, we have the number 1 seed on this slot to be Dimitri Bivol, taking on our play-in winner of Andrade.
Not even close. Bivol dog walks Andrade.
Now, I think this is a style clash now. It's a little bit of a style clash.
Quit churning the butter, man. You don't believe for a goddamn second that Bivol is going to get any kind of troubles out of Demetrius Andrade.
No, wait a minute, Lucas. I do believe that Bivol is not used to someone with an awkward type style like Andrade, and it might throw him off a little bit on his type of, slick boxing. We don't know that, but I just don't see Andrade at 175. I don't see him at light heavyweight. I think it's a stretch for him to be at 168. He's really a 160 pounder type fighter, but everybody's at 168 right now, so he's stretching his limits with that physically. So for that reason alone, I have to go with Bivol.
Yeah, that's well said, because I was going to say he's really a 154 pounder that really never got a chance to fight anybody at 154. So he's been constantly moved up. But I think there's lesser fighters that he's going to have problems with. And I think Bivol is really right now pound for pound number 1. I mean, he's got to be up there.
Yeah. What you think, Rob? I mean, do you think because Andrade to me, if it was talking about at like 168, then I could see it being more competitive, because Andrade does have a very sneaky and very awkward type fight, and he fights on angles. He's oftentimes look like he's off balance, but he's really not. This can throw a real slick, what do you call it? Pure boxer off on the way they like to jab and move around. So I think he is that type of style is tailored for somebody that is considered a purist. You know what I'm saying? Like it causes them problems. But I just don't know if it's Bivol at 175, then I think he's out of his physical. Andrade is out of his physical area. Like it's a limitation.
I don't want to say this as much as it pains me to say it. I hate to say it. But for once, I agree with CJ Hooker here. I think no, the other one, Lucas, the one you just had up. The comment you just had up.
Andrade is wanting a big payday, and Canelo is the cash cow still. He will upset
Bivol. Correct.
That's just to get a chance at Canelo.
You guys are crazy.
I think Andrade is a great talented boxer. I think he's one of the super boxers in the sport. He does boxing very well. I think Bivol has problems with that, will have problems with that, especially if Andrade can eventually get up to that weight. I think Andrade's style affects Bivol, and he will pull the upset.
I don't see what you see. Me too. I don't see what anybody sees in Andrade. I have not seen anything spectacular in any set of the means, by any stretch of the means. I just don't see it. Andrade, he's avoided because, yes, he can box, but at the same time, it's just like, why? Like, beating Andrade will get nobody anything, and I just don't even, I don't know, I don't see it. But let's move on. Let's move on. Let's read some of the comments here.
I want to hear what other people.
CJ Hooker said he beats Bivol, who beat Canelo. CJ, I think you're crazy for this one. Usually we see eye to eye. Brett Reed, but he takes too long to get started. Boo Boo does, and Bivol don't. Mike Ortiz, Boo Boo can box, but you all underestimate Bivol boxing abilities and IQ. Not me. Not me.
That's all right. I'm not down with his boxing abilities. I'm just saying that Andrade has that awkward style that can give somebody like that problems. But at his current weight at 175, I think that Andrade would be taking on too much.
Yeah, I mean, you could drain Bivol to the 168 and inflate Boo Boo to 168, and I don't think it really matters. I think it's Bivol all day. But what we got next, bro?
We agree to disagree.
And Rowdy, who did he have?
I don't think Rowdy. Oh yeah, Bivol stops him late rounds.
Let me put this.
I don't even think he gets late
here
rounds.
Again, people.
Mid.
I am no professional matchmaker, but this is my segment. So if you don't like these matchups, that's your problem. No, I throw that disclaimer out there because Lucas is going to kill me for this next matchup.
I'm sure I am.
Put it together. This last matchup in this bracket is David the Beast Benavidez versus John Ryder.
Why in the hell did John Ryder get?
That's why we get that disclaimer. Okay, now I see why we had that.
John Ryder is ranked high in the division, people.
Yes, he's ranked number 2 on BoxRec in
listen,
that division.
Listen. CJ said Benavidez. Look,
I don't even want to answer that. I'm just like, what? Shut up.
Look, this fight one is just crazy to me. I don't. And what you said about the ranking, right? We all know that this is a trick that's been going on in boxing for years. As soon as somebody else high in boxing, and I'm talking Manny, I'm talking Floyd, I'm talking Canelo, Cotto, right? As soon as they announce they're going to fight somebody, especially if they're not top tier, their rank all of a sudden just how to get up there. How to get up there to make the fight seem like it's worth shit. That fight ain't worth shit. Nobody wants to see that. Benavidez by KO.
Like, why would you acknowledge the sickening politics of boxing, right? Even throwing his name in here with this situation. Yes, BoxRec has him as number 2. I mean, because Canelo's number 1 and they're trying to build up this fight right now. But him over Andrade, him over Benavidez, him over everybody else in the division almost, like, give me a break. He's lost to every opponent that Canelo has won against. This is 5 losses, all of which fought Canelo at certain points in their career and lost. Why are we bringing out somebody who's lost to the losers of Canelo to fight Canelo? Tell me.
Rob, do you got Yildirim on here? If you got Yildirim on here, I'm in the show right now.
Come on now, y'all. I had to go with the rankings. Brett Charlo is not has not taken a fight at 168 yet, even. So he's not in the rankings. I couldn't go with Charlo because of that. I had to go with what I had to.
You could have went with what's the?
So I'm just gonna pencil in Benavidez here. Okay, I'm gonna pencil in Benavidez.
Well, I'm telling you, you could have went with a lot of other people.
Who's Shakur?
I mean, I would have rather had Charlo, who has not fought at 168.
Daniel Jacobs. You could have said Daniel Jacobs.
He shouldn't even have the ranking he has, in my opinion. He hasn't.
And Ryder should.
But you're just going off of that because Canelo.
Wait, didn't Ryder just beat Danny?
No.
Mm-mm.
Did he?
I'll have to look that up.
I know he had a loss over in the UK, but it was suspect. Many people believe that he won that fight, including myself.
No, hold on. I could look that up.
But he does have a loss on his record as his last fight because it was in the UK and it was like a split decision.
But I'm going to pencil in Benavidez. Let's move on.
Yeah, Benavidez does beat Jacobs too, but I'm just saying he could have, instead of throwing Ryder in there, he could have just went with Jacobs. At least they're in the same division.
Lucas, look it up. I'm pretty sure he just beat.
All right, I will.
Anyway, well, before you do that, Lucas, we're now into the next round, and this is your dream matchup, Lucas. Your dream matchup right here.
Wait a minute,
Alvarez.
Apparently, he beat by a split decision, Danny Jacobs.
Yeah,
who?
I don't remember that. Ryder.
Oh, so it was Ryder. Yeah, it was a UK fight, and it was a bad decision.
A little over a year ago.
Jacobs really won that fight.
All right, let's move on.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See how you would have the wrong impression by just looking at people box rec if you didn't actually watch the fight. Because these scores and different things are bringing into your mindset when you're researching.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that touched the night, which is what I wanted to do.
It falsifies history, right, Sakura?
Yes.
Just like that Canelo Golovkin first fight. Man.
You got to move on.
Go ahead.
Lucas, this is your dream fight.
Right, all right, I'm in.
Canelo Alvarez versus Artur Beterbiev.
It's a hard one. Believe it or not, I think that one comes down to weight. If you try to drain him to 168, I don't know. Beterbiev might not be able to make that. If Canelo comes to Beterbiev, KO.
Let's just do catch weight. Let's say they meet in the middle.
I still got to go Beterbiev KO. I think he knocks him out. Canelo ain't moving around enough, okay? And as much as people like to paint this picture of Canelo, the knockout artist, I'm sorry, he doesn't have as much power as what y'all make him out to be. Beterbiev can walk through those punches and stop him. Literally, the only person Beterbiev loses to is Bivol. I said that earlier, and I'm going to continue to say that.
Shakur?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say Canelo. Damn, I'm having a hard time sticking to that. Damn. I gotta go with Beterbiev because damn it, he got a goat-like chin, y'all. He got a goat-like chin. Like nobody has been able to touch this man's chin. So we gonna say that Canelo gonna meet him at a catch weight, and he's all of a sudden gonna have enough power to get a Beterbiev out. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And who in the world has Canelo fought that has pressure that like that? I don't remember him fighting anybody that's got that type of pressure to where they just forcing you back on your back foot the entire fight.
So y'all are missing
and that's
something.
how it's going to be.
Y'all, hold on.
It's going to be. Look,
y'all are missing something now. Y'all are missing something. Let me say this. Y'all are missing something. And maybe I change your minds with this one. Maybe I don't.
Yeah, that part.
He didn't look good against Yarden. He did not look that good against Yarden. And if Yarden can go in there and tussle with him like that and beat the pressure, so to speak, a little bit and get his own punches in there and even cut up the man, what do you think Canelo's gonna do?
But that's Yarde being at his correct weight though. Like he's in his weight zone. He's not.
Canelo can go 168, 175. He's done it before.
Right, but what I'm saying is Yarde was at his correct weight. He's not going to have to put on extra weight or be sluggish or try to maneuver. Like, to me, Canelo didn't look good at 175 with the extra weight. He looked sluggish, and he wasn't moving around a lot against Bivol, right? So I think it would be a
I'm going Canelo.
You know what? You just want somebody to pick Canelo, so your competition, your March matchups will be correct. I can't do that. In good faith, I am measuring the two of these guys the way that I see it, and I just don't see Canelo out of his weight zone trying to overcome Benavidez, the wolf. And you know it
y'all
yourself.
put too much on this guy. Y'all put too much on this guy. To me, he's looked bad against Yarden.
You putting too much on him.
You are. Look at the last fight against Golovkin. No, he hasn't. Look at the last fight against Golovkin.
He has those great matchups.
Listen.
Who is better being beat?
You just want us to say
that he's better than Canelo. I'll wait.
Who
is he beat, Lucas? I'll wait.
Who, Yarde? Who are you talking about?
No. Better be.
Everybody's his fought.
Who is he beat?
Everybody's
better than who Canelo faced.
Did Yarde hurt? Did he actually hurt Benavidez? I'm trying to remember. Because I think it was a point in the fight that he was looking a little hurt.
I was somewhat trying to say this, what Mike Ortiz is saying. He kind of just took it right out of my mouth. But yeah, we looked at that Canelo Golovkin fight. That Golovkin that we saw, he should have smoked past that version of Golovkin. But it seems like maybe he can't weight bully no more, and he ain't as good as when he starts making his own damn divisions at 155 and then rehydrating another 10 to 20 pounds. Maybe that's the reason Canelo is hitting a brick wall. And I mean, maybe he's been overhyped this whole time. Maybe.
All of y'all are just a bunch of Canelo haters. I'm going to say it.
Of course I'm
going
to get
Canelo haters.
But you know what? I think every single person commenting, everyone has picked Benavidez except you.
Because they're Canelo haters.
For real? Everybody else said Benavidez?
I'm looking at
Nobody said Canelo?
Nope.
Oh, well, hello there.
Let's go with this next one. We got
No. Now you want to move on. Now that we pointed out that ain't nobody on your side right now, dude. You need to recognize that we all are on the same side here with Benavidez. With Benavidez beating a Canelo right now, today.
So hopefully we do get to see that in the future. Because I would love to see that fight in the future.
All right.
Well, I'm just simply saying you trying to, you doing too much, and now you don't want to recognize and just pay homage to the fact that all of us agree. Okay, the fans, CJ
Canelo is the number one most hated fighter in the U.S.
Brett, all of us agree.
In the U.S., he's the most hated.
Lucas, he's the most loved. He's the face of boxing.
In Mexico.
He's the face of boxing.
Mexican Americans.
Don't get me started on that.
Most American fans, they all hate him.
I just learned some stuff about them tickets down there in Mexico right now. What?
Yeah. It was crazy. That's way too expensive.
We got to get through this, y'all. We almost
pesos. You got to make that U.S. dollar amount in pesos to go see Canelo. And he's claiming he wanted his hometown fans to be able to see him. How? With an $800 ticket is the cheapest ticket.
Yeah, that's nuts.
We're almost through this. We got to get through.
Okay. I'm gonna let it go.
Our next matchup then is Dimitri Bivol versus David Benavidez. Another interesting fight.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
Benavidez.
Bivol Benavidez
versus Benavidez.
Oh shit.
Right now, standing as it is, I still say, well, I just picked Plant to beat Benavidez. So I'm definitely going to pick Bivol to beat Benavidez. I think Bivol right now may be the best fighter currently. Pound for pound.
Kurt?
I will go. Because of what I saw Bivol do to a huge Ramirez, I will go with Bivol over Benavidez because he definitely is more technically sound than Benavidez, and we know that the size will not have a huge impact.
Wait, did you say Benavidez or Benavidez?
Oh, I meant to say,
okay.
I meant to say Bivol is not.
I was making sure I knew what was happening.
I'm sorry. What I'm saying is Bivol is not going to be swayed from his technical onslaught by the size because he just proved that with Ramirez. The size didn't make a difference. So Benavidez, not Benavidez. Damn, I keep saying that. All these damn bees. Who the hell made everybody bees up here in this super middleweight and light heavyweight zone? So I'm saying Benavidez. I did it again. I'm saying Benavidez, even though he's known for being huge. Shut up, Lucas.
I can't help it.
Okay, so I'm saying that even though Benavidez.
Just say David. Call the man David. Call him by his first name.
You set me up. You set all these brackets up so we can get tongue-tied on damn
Just say David.
Shit. Okay. The Mexican Monster is known for being big, but because Bivol has already fought Ramirez and he has a lot of size on him and it didn't make a difference, I will still say that Bivol will conquer a Benavidez. So, now, Lucas, you go ahead and cut all the rest of that shit that I was all them bloopers, those are bloopers for real.
I have to edit that a little bit.
So, people, I also like Bivol because of what Shakura just said. He can cut you down at any weight. It don't matter. He can cut you down at any weight. Benavidez, I think, will actually perform way better than what Canelo was able to do with him, but he still gets cut down. So you see what we did now, people? We created, in this March Madness tournament, a championship fight that actually is going to be made. Bivol versus Benavidez. This is for all the marbles, Lucas. This is what you wanted to get at.
I love it, and I kind of already picked it. I think Bivol be able to keep him at bay. His power is more than respectable to keep Beterbiev off. There is a chance that Beterbiev could knock him out, but I think Bivol schools him. I think so, especially with the most recent fights. I put my money on Bivol. I put my money where my mouth is in that fight.
Shakur?
Well, here's where my favorite Lucas, we're not going to be on the same side on this one. I definitely feel that Beterbiev is a force. He is not going to look stale like he did with Yarde. You would see the best Beterbiev that we've ever seen in his entire career because it is a career-defining fight. And I just don't see Bivol keeping Beterbiev off of him. This is the same thing that I thought was going to happen with Canelo. I thought that he was not going to be able to keep him off of him. But this is different because Canelo doesn't have the type of pressure and attitude that Beterbiev has. And if this is the fight that they want to leave on the line as their signature fights, in their careers, I just don't see you seeing the same Benavidez that we saw with Yade. We're going to see a damn beast in there. He's going to be on attack mode the entire time. Bivol is not known for his power, so he will not be able to do anything with that chin. And he might try to just do the jab, but I don't think the jab is going to keep him off because what did I say before? Benavidez, 100% of the time that he's faced somebody that's a slick boxer, he's overtaken him every time. So I'm not going to bet against him. I can't bet against Benavidez, so it's Benavidez for me.
So this is also what I wanted. We are split on the panel, and Lucas, looks like based on the comments, our fans are split as well, correct?
Oh, for real?
I mean, this is a true final. I think this is speaking on the division and especially at light heavy. I mean, this is where it's at. I mean, this is what we want to see.
This is why I say I wanted this, because I am the deciding factor.
Hey, it's a super fight. You know what I mean? This one is a super fight. CJ Sakura is spot on with her pick. That's what CJ
said. Keep that up.
CJ, thank you.
Keep that up. Go back.
Brett says, do you guys know who Tim Zoo is yet? Yeah, we just went over and talked about him. So there was a couple shows ago. He just had that fight. So we just touched on him. But go ahead, Rob.
Brett, yeah, we know his motherfucking name. No.
Say my motherfucking name. The only problem is
down to this, y'all. We're down to the decision since I am the deciding factor. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go out with it and say Bivol. Bivol is the king in this sport. Period. I think you're absolutely right, Shakura. Benavidez. And here's one thing that we didn't do yet. But when you look at this tournament and you look at who they fought against and what they came out of it, Benavidez beating, Caleb Plant, okay. But then coming out and beating Canelo Alvarez, he is definitely going to be the best he has ever looked in his entire life, coming off of those two wins. And then you look at what Bivol has done. He beat an Andrade. He beat a Benavidez. So he beat guys that are bigger than him, potentially. He beat a guy with a tougher style than what he's used to fighting at this, especially at that weight class. So I think this is the ultimate matchup in March. But I think Bivol is king. He remains king. He's the best fighter on the planet.
All right, there it is. I mean, we were all split on that one, so I already knew that this was going to be a good finale. But I think we got to the end there, and it went really well. Rob, I'm already looking forward to next March, just so that we can keep this going. What is next week? Is that still technically March? We still got another Tuesday.
Yeah, it's another week.
So guys, if you like this, don't forget to check us out again next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We will have another March Madness. Rob goes with Rapid Fire. He's going to pick another division, correct?
A couple. We've done two.
We gotta do it welterweights.
Yeah, but we're asking guys. Well, who would you like to see next?
Yeah, what division is it that you would like to see this March Madness matchups? You tell us which division.
It is fun, especially with you guys chiming in as well. So it's been a great show. Definitely check us out. All of our social media at Heavy Bag Boxing. Let's see here. Mike Ortiz, he set the goal to stop Dennis Hogan quicker than Jamal Charlo did at middleweight. And I agree, the pedigree of the champion ripped LCB. Still talking about Zoo. Okay. CJ Hooker, 140, 147. I love those two weight divisions. That's good.
Okay.
135 and 147. So
we did 135 last week.
We did 135. If you want to go ahead and check us out, our last week's episode. I actually also, if you're on our Facebook, again, all of our social media is at Heavy Bag Boxing. I did post just the March Madness or March matchup part of it. So you can go check that out. That should be just a couple posts ago. Yeah. So, but that was very entertaining too. So definitely check that video out. But thank you all for tuning in and all the comments. Thank you, Mike Ortiz, checking that out. CJ
Lucas,
Hooker,
you're gonna
Ralphie.
do my bloopers? Are you gonna edit and have
I gotta do something with that. I don't know.
I mean, my best moments of B's and Benavidez and Benavidez and big balls.
Too many tongue twisters, but it's been a great show. Thank you all for tuning in. All the cooperation and commenting, we definitely appreciate it all. But again, every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Good fight, good night. See you next week.